Greetings, Guardians of Dominion. Zeus here with another enlightening video. Today, we're diving deep into the mind of the goose, and no, this isn't a farm story, it's all about Zeus's third and fourth skills, Guardian Goose and Lay of Feathers. One promises life-saving heals in the face of death, the other transforms his basic attacks into pure support power. But are they really enough to keep your team alive in today's brutal meta? Or is Zeus falling short of his full potential? Stick around as we break down how these skills work, how they scale, and whether Zeus deserves a buff, or just better support. Let's get started. Zeus's Guardian Goose skill is one of the more intriguing abilities in Hero Wars. On paper, its main purpose is to protect an ally from being taken out by a deadly blow. The way it works is fairly straightforward. If an ally is about to receive a hit that would drop their health below 25%, Zeus automatically triggers a healing effect. Here's the mechanic in action: when that life-threatening hit is incoming, Zeus will restore 60,490 health to the hero. But there's a catch: the ally must be under the effect of Golden Feather for this to happen. This buff lasts for 5 seconds, and adds bonus healing depending on how much time is left when the triggering hit occurs. For every remaining second of Golden Feather, Zeus adds 8,666 health on top of the base healing. So if 4 seconds are left, that's an additional 35,000 health. If it triggers with only 3 seconds left, you get 26,000 extra. And if it happens just 2 seconds before the feather expires, the bonus drops to 17,350. Altogether, this skill can deliver around 100,000 healing, but let's be honest, that's not always enough. In theory, this should be a life-saving ability. But in practice, I've found it falls short. The problem is simple: the damage output of many heroes in the current meta is just too high. Let's say a hero has 200,000 health, and Dante's next spear deals over 400,000 damage, Zeus's healing simply won't make a difference. Even with perfect timing and a feather in place, the extra 100k health just gets wiped out in the blink of an eye. In one of my test battles, Sebastian had full health and an active feather. Dante still crushed him with a single 600k hit. Zeus tried to help, but it was too little, too late. That's why I genuinely hope the developers take a second look at this skill. The idea is brilliant, giving your ally a second chance, not through resurrection, but through emergency healing. But in its current state, the numbers just don't hold up. A rework could turn this into a true last chance mechanic. Imagine restoring 400,000 health instead of 60k. Now that would make a difference. It wouldn't make Zeus overpowered, it would make him relevant in a meta where heroes like Dante, Augustus, Lara Croft, and Ishmael can easily deal over 1 million damage with proper support. Now, let's talk about how to scale this healing. The Guardian Goose skill can improve based on Zeus's physical attack stat. That's the first key. You can boost it through artifacts, specifically from heroes whose first artifact boosts physical attack. Nebula is also a fantastic support choice here. Her positioning and buff amplify Zeus's healing significantly. Next up, there's the War Flag of Recovery, which enhances healing effects. And don't forget Axel, adds durability and synergizes well with healing setups. Finally, in Clash of Worlds, City Hall, that's another way to amplify the healing potential. With all of that combined, Nebula support, physical attack boosts, and recovery flag, you can push this skill to restore around 200k to 220k health. That's a major upgrade, but even then, it still struggles to keep allies alive against top-tier burst damage. The intention behind Guardian Goose is noble: save an ally from the brink of death. But the reality is that unless you go all in on scaling and support, it often can't deliver on that promise. And even when you do, it's still not enough to counter heroes who hit like a truck. This is why Guus deserves some love from the devs, because if his skill truly gave allies a second chance, he could be a game changer in clutch moments. Now let's move on to Guus's final violet skill, Lay of Feathers, and this one is beautifully straightforward. Guus stops dealing damage with his basic attacks and instead turns them into healing. That's right, every time he performs a basic attack, he heals one of his allies. It's very similar to Celeste's light form, where she also heals with basic attacks. But there's a big difference. While Celeste has to switch forms to start healing, Guus is locked into this healing mode from the very beginning of battle, no switching required. As long as Guus is alive and active, he's constantly healing your team with every basic attack. Personally, I love this skill. The moment your tank takes a hit, Guus steps in immediately and delivers healing, no need to wait for energy or skill activation. The default healing from this basic attack is 41,900 health. Now, if we compare that to Celeste, her basic attack healing hits around 72,000, almost double. But again, keep in mind, Celeste has downtime between light and dark forms. Guus? He's consistent. No switching. No gaps. Over time, Guus can actually outpace Celeste in total healing output, just by being constant. But that's not all this skill does. Every time Guus heals with his basic attack, he also applies Golden Feather to the ally he healed. And here's where the synergy gets really interesting. This Golden Feather buff activates Guus's Feathers of Gold skill, and if the ally ends up in danger, dropping under 25% health, it also triggers Guardian Goose, giving them an emergency heal. In other words, Lay of Feathers is not just passive healing. It's the engine that drives Guus's entire kit. It keeps allies healed, buffs them with Golden Feather, and prepares the team for critical moments. And here's where things get strategic, the strength of Lay of Feathers scales with Guus's physical attack stat. So how do we boost it? First, focus on artifacts, especially heroes whose first artifact boosts physical attack. Guus benefits directly from those bonuses. Then there's Nebula. With her positioned properly, her equilibrium skill gives a massive buff to Guus's physical attack, raising his basic attack healing even higher. Add the war flag of recovery into the mix, and healing is further amplified across the board. And if you use Axel as his patronage pet, you increase your team's durability while strengthening Guus's support role. And don't forget Clash of Worlds, controlling City Hall provides yet another bonus to healing stats. In a fully supported setup, with just Nebula alone boosting Guus, the healing from his basic attack jumps to 96,000. That's nearly 100k per basic attack, and it happens fast, often, and automatically. This skill might seem quiet on the surface, but it's a core part of what makes Guus such a unique and effective support hero. It keeps your team sustained, prepares them for emergency saves, and ties his entire skill set together. Guus definitely has potential. From my point of view, he's already showing promise, but I believe he would benefit from one more physical attack skin to truly shine. And honestly, his third skill, Guardian Goose, could use a rework to make it more impactful in the current meta. There's still more to explore, more testing to be done. But I'm confident that in the near future, we'll see defensive team compositions featuring Guus that will be extremely hard to break through. His healing mechanics, synergy with Golden Feather, and team support role make him a strong candidate for long-lasting, resilient defenses. And that wraps up our deep dive into Guus's third and fourth skills, Guardian Goose and Lay of Feathers. We've seen the strengths, the synergy, and yes, the shortcomings. Guardian Goose has a noble purpose, but right now, it struggles to keep pace with today's burst-heavy meta. A potential rework or a significant buff could make all the difference. Meanwhile, Layer Feathers shows us what true consistency looks like, healing on every basic attack, setting up allies for survival, and fueling the entire kit with synergy. With the right support, Nebula, War Flag of Recovery, and physical attack boosts, Guus can deliver meaningful healing and even stand toe-to-toe with Celeste in terms of impact. But to truly reach his full potential, I believe Guus needs one more physical attack skin. And a little love from the devs. Now it's your turn, Guardians, what do you think? Does Guus deserve a buff? Would one skin make the difference? Let me know in the comments, I read every one of them. If you found this video helpful or thought-provoking, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications, so you never miss the next strategy drop. There's a lot more to uncover, and together, we'll keep finding ways to master the Dominion. Until next time, salute and friendship.